Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Odds here, and I am back in the studio, baby. Let's go. That's right. Starting a little early this morning because I was ready. I was out here and I was getting set up, and I'm like, man, I'm back in the studio, y'all. And I don't know. I wanted to make the change since it's off season now. I'll be doing my show out here because it's gonna be warmer and it won't be cold out here. So yeah, I'm back in the studio. Of course, the Raptors wrapped up their 2024-25 season yesterday in the afternoon against the Spurs, and unfortunately, they lost the game. They had a 20-point lead at halftime, and they managed to lose a game by the end of the game, which is really bad, really, really bad in some ways. I don't like it, but it is what it is. In some ways, there were a couple of things that contributed to the reason why 7 players, no players by the end of the game, honestly. We had 5 available players to play the game, and that's all we had at the end of the game. We started with 8, and we lost 2 to injury and 1 to fouling out. And then there was just 5 guys left playing for the Raptors at the end of the season, getting limping to the finish line. And, well, you're playing against a team that has more depth because they have more players available. They got more experience because they got Chris Paul. Then they got, home crowd behind them. The home crowd starts getting behind them in the third quarter, and it's a recipe for disaster. We did really good in the first half. We blew them out. We played fantastic, but no depth for the Toronto Raptors, sunk them and made them so that they couldn't do a whole lot after that. So it is what it is. That's right, Trevor. I got the chair, everything back in the studio. That's right, baby. It's off season. How to make the change, and the change is I'm back in the studio, baby. That's right. You can see all the stuff on the wall and the Funkos and the DeMar DeRozan bobblehead and the championship trophy and the Scotty Barnes and the championship ring and all the good stuff on my wall back behind here. But we're reacting to the last game of the season for the Raptors against the Spurs, an afternoon game, an afternoon action for all 30 teams in the NBA, the last day of the season. And they had a real nail biter between the Warriors and the Clippers. And, well, the Clippers overcame the Warriors and got that playoff spot, and the Warriors are going to be in the play-in. We're talking all that stuff. I got the straight goods on the Canadian goods. I got the classic card. I've got the Instagram stories, all the regular stuff on the Rap Freak channel. We coming in early this morning. That's right, early and in the studio. Let's go. All right, let me check in with the chat first. Obviously, Trevor is here first. Commissioner of Fun, thank you for all you do in support of this channel. I appreciate you very, 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 very much. Yesterday, we had a lively crew in the Discord server for the game. Lots of voices heard. At one point, I think we had 9 people in the server talking and commentating during the game. It was fantastic to hang out with Wayne Strainer, who came in there and hung out the whole time. We had Stargate in there. We had Jillian in there. We had MJ in there for a little bit. Adriana, Blackhawk. Let's see who else was in there. Tristan, Reggie, Kareem. Yeah, it was fantastic. They have so many different voices opining on the Raptors game during the game, and I just kind of sit back and watch the game with you guys and enjoy it with you. And that was a lot of fun. The interaction was off the charts yesterday. It was fantastic. We heard Trevor for a little bit in there too, so that was good too. Yeah. So Trevor's words of wisdom are the best thing about speaking the truth is you don't have to remember what you said. Yeah, this is a good reason why being a truthful person is your life is easier, because if you are spreading a web of lies, you got to keep that web up, the strands of that web up correctly. Well, more lies beget more lies, and lies go to lies to lies. There's one thing I'm learning from watching Breaking Bad right now, rewatching it, is, Walter White's web of lies. It does not help for a healthy lifestyle. Makes it very, very toxic. So if you can be as truthful as possible, that'd be great. Now, it's funny and ironic that a site called Truth Social is one of the most untruthful places in the world. But yeah, the lies of people and all over the place, they catch up to them at different times. Trevor J., thank you for your words of wisdom. I appreciate you. He's saying Scotty had his best game of the season at the end. I'm going to agree with him because I went and looked at his game log for the season. Scotty's career high is 35 points, and he got it again last night. He set his career high twice this year. He had a 35-point game earlier this season also against the Pacers. And, well, he had 35 points against the Spurs yesterday to finish the season. In some ways, it's frustrating and annoying seeing that he can go get 35 like that if he just pushes himself a little bit more aggressively like he did. And I wish he would do it more regularly like that. But, well, maybe that's just a little bit of a preview for the future. Next season, with Scotty going out there and getting 35 points on a double-double. And that's why I would say this is his best game of the season. You're right, statistically. It may not be his best game of the season overall because, well, honestly, one of his best games of the season should have been a win for the Raptors. So it's tough. Individually, Scotty did good yesterday. Maybe had his best individual stat game of the season on the last day of the season. But also at the same time, they didn't win. So you can't say that he exactly had his best game of the season. Statistically, yes. But I'll bet you if you ask Scott if he had his best game of the season last night, he'd probably tell you no because the team lost. Because the team lost. That's right. Thank you, Trevor, for the comments. And yeah, Scott is my number one star of the game. Let's go ahead and do that right now. Scotty Barnes, good job, man. You were showing more and more aggressiveness and going inside, dominance, showing the very, very fundamental footwork, very, very fundamental turnarounds, and attacking the basket, going to the basket much more than doing other stuff outside, which is great. 15 of 23 from the field for Scott. That's scorching. 15 at 23. And I like the number of shots he took. Of course, with no Brandon, no RJ, no IQ, no Grady, no Jacoby. Scotty's going to have to take a lot of shots, and he should be high usage in this situation. In some ways, what the game was yesterday is what we would be without anybody else and just Scotty as our superstar. Well, we'd have him get good stats, but we probably lose the game. And that's what's going on. 15 and 23, including 2 of 2 from 3, which is fantastic. I love seeing Scott make both his three-pointers. 3 of 4 at the free throw line, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 turnovers, 35 points in 37 minutes. That's a great game, Scott. You carried the team a lot of the game, and you had to play throughout the whole entire game because of the lack of players that we had. I mean, the 5 guys that were standing at the end of the game, Jamison, Jonathan, Oshai, and Jamal, all the guys off the bench could not play anymore. The starters were the only guys left. Garrett Temple, a very scary injury right at the end of the season. I don't like seeing Garrett get hurt like that. I have not gotten any updates on his condition yet. We're going to have to find out what happened with Garrett as far as like the player falling into his leg like that. That injury that Garrett Temple had last night, it was very similar to the one that Ulrich Shamshay suffered on the 905 when Kenny Chandler rolled into his leg also. So hopefully Garrett's going to be all right. We'll find out the news on him, and we'll keep you updated on the Raptor Freak channel for sure. On the down low, people didn't even realize this, but AJ Lawson pulled his hamstring last night, and he had to exit the game late in the game. They didn't really talk about it on the broadcast, but AJ had to leave, and he wasn't able to return either. So that was something that people may not realize. And also Colin Castleton fouled out in the game in 29 minutes with 6 fouls. So we really were down to our last 5 guys. Chris Boucher didn't even dress because he was ill. He was sick, and he didn't dress. And all the rest of the guys weren't dressed either. So we really were scraping the bottom of the barrel with 3 J-Rooks, Oshai Abaji, and Scotty Barnes to play the rest of the game. My second star of the game for last night's game is Colin Castleton. Great to see him return in the Raptors jersey. Great to see he has not forgotten the chemistry and synergy he had with his teammates. Lots of good stuff happening with him and other teammates. Scotty feeding him in the post and getting good, easy shots. 10 points for Colin on 5 of 7 shooting, 2 rebounds for him, but also fouled out. That's pretty much it. It was just nice to see Colin back out there. He's such a mobile big that rebounds so well. And, well, we're glad he's in the fold and that we're going to have him in training camp and summer league. And I'm excited to see Colin Castleton develop. And hopefully he can be a rotation player or a member of our team next season when we come into the season next year. It'd be nice to have that depth with a big man. So Colin Castleton, my second star, in some ways is for thanking him to come back. My third star is for a guy who had an exceptional first half, but really disappeared in the second half, much to the chagrin of the Raptor Freak family in the Discord channel. Very, very pissed off in some ways. Wayne Strainer going off about how but Battle's just stopped shooting. He's just stopped shooting after halftime. Battle had 22 points in the first half, and he ended the game with 25. And I'm just like, man, we need you in the second half. What was the difference between the first half and the second half? Well, Jamison Battle was on fire, and he scored a lot of points to help us get a 20-point lead. But in the third, he disappeared, and we didn't have anybody putting in that scoring punch to help us. And in some ways, We needed you, Battle, to wake up and show up. Maybe he just was out of it. He couldn't do any more after that because he missed a lot of shots in the second half. 9 of 19 overall for Jamison. He did play 42 minutes, so that's a long game. 7 of 15 from three, and most of those hits were in the first half. He hit 6 of like 7 in the first half, and then he went and missed almost everything in the second half, which like 1 for 8, 1 for 8 in the second half. So 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, a -7 with 25 points for Jamison Battle. It's his career high, and it was a pretty good game for the first half, but the second half he disappeared. And we needed you, Jamison. And it's too bad. It is what it is. It is what it is. Looking at some of the other players, if I'm going to give an honorable mention, I'd like to go ahead and give it to Ochai Agbaji. 6 of 15 from the field, 2 of 8 from three, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 steals, 1 block, 1 turnover, 14 points for Ochai in 38 minutes. Just doing what he does, two-way stuff. Good defense and scoring here and there for the Raptors in ways that he can help. Jonathan Mobo had a tough shooting night. He just missed out on his second triple-double because he didn't get another point. He had 9 points. He needed 1 more point. He could have made the missed free throw he missed. He could have made the missed dunk that he flubbed on some of the lobs that Scotty was giving him. But Jonathan, alas, just barely missed out on another triple-double. And it's crazy because he missed out on it on points. Normally, it's like guys miss out on triple doubles from a rebound less or an assist or 2 less. But no, this man covered those ones. He had 14 rebounds, including 4 offensive, 10 assists, but only 9 points. What are you doing, Jonathan? Why didn't you get that 1 free throw or any of the dunks you messed up that were there? 4 for 14. He just needed to make 1 more. And he took 5 threes and missed all of them too. That was driving people in the chat crazy. Jonathan, stop shooting threes is what they were saying. Know your role and stop shooting threes, my guy, because they look bad, man. But yeah, rebounding, assists, steals, 4 steals for him also. Fantastic. If not, his own offense was crap. If not his own offense. Jamal Shed, the other starter, 4 for 12, 2 for 5 from 3, 1 of 2 at the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 9 assists with 3 turnovers, 11 points for Shed. In some ways, he's a guy who we may need to start stepping up to score more in certain ways when we get into these tough spots like the third quarter yesterday, is maybe Shed can take some of the scoring load and take over a little bit. I'd like to see that. Garrett Temple was out there for 2 minutes and got hurt. He had 1 assist, and that is it. And I really hope that Garrett is not seriously hurt. I really hope that that's not the way his NBA career is going to end. Who knows, though? He may be done for good. I don't know that yet. And we'll have to see. Darko and the Raptors do like Garrett Temple, and they may want him back just on a very minimum salary to provide the role he has been doing for the Raptors already. Garrett has said he's very interested in doing that again. So the future of Garrett Temple is up in the air. He is one of our only free agents. So we'll have to see what happens. But what a horrible way to end the season with him getting hurt and having to be helped off the court. That's no good. That is no good. As I said, AJ Lawson pulled a hamstring on the down low. People may not have realized this. 21 minutes for him with 14 points, 3 of 7 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3. He did get to the line a lot, 7 of 7 from the line. No stats otherwise, man. The guy did not get an assist or rebound or anything otherwise. So, yeah, it's a tough way to win an NBA game. 48 minutes is a long period of time. And if you only have 5 guys at the end of the game and they're all tired and they all played almost 40 minutes, well, you're going to run out of juice. As some people were saying, Jonathan Mobo, Jamal Shed, Jamison Battle are tired. They played their first full NBA season. And in some ways, those guys played more time on the court than anybody this season, Shed, Mobo, and Battle, because they were playing on 905 and on the Raptors. And they got a lot of games and time in, seriously. So it's no doubt that the rookies that we had playing, 3 of them starting last night, were going to be a little bit fatigued and a little bit off. The whole season, the Raptors J-Rooks have been above par, excellent. They have been fantastic. They have been not making rookie mistakes. They have been above their age and their experience. Jamal Shed, Jacoby Walter, Jamison Battle, even Jonathan Mobo. Jonathan Mobo's made a lot of mistakes throughout the year, but in some ways he kept it together and played very solid basketball for the most part. Well, this last game, we saw more rookie mistakes. There were rookie mistakes at the very end of this game last night, and also just rookie mistakes throughout the game. And that's fatigue. That's the long season. That's the end of the tunnel of the season. You can see it, and you kind of let your guard down, and maybe you're not playing as sharp or as tuned in as possible. Mobo, Shed, and Battle. And that's just how it goes. This is learning. And in some ways, they saw the end of the season coming. It's a long season for rookies. They're used to college years with how many games they play in college, going to 82 games all of a sudden. And well, can you doubt that these rookies were fatigued as an accumulation of fatigue over the whole entire season? So, I mean, it is what it is. The Spurs had a roster. We had 8 guys, and then we only had 5. And what are we going to do? What are we going to do? In some ways, Neil was mad about that. And Blackhawk was going on. It's like, why can't we win? Why wouldn't we win? Because, why don't we have the right team? Well, we just didn't have enough men playing in the game. And, we can blame Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett for sitting on rest because they weren't hurt officially. They were sitting for rest. But that is a franchise choice for the Raptors to not let them have a possibility of getting more hurt. In fact, we saw people get hurt. AJ Lawson, Garrett Temple not being able to play anymore. And Scotty even pulled a little bit on his leg. We saw him limping at one point late in the game. So it's risky to play your players in games where they don't have any outcome. This is not for the playoffs. The season's over. You're playing for nothing. So in some ways, the Raptors make a general decision to sit Barrett in quickly, to not put them in any kind of danger of getting hurt on the last game of the season. I can understand that philosophy. But in some ways, Raptors freaks that want to win don't. And they don't understand this philosophy because in some ways they're like, nah, we should try and win. You're healthy, get out there and play. And that's an old school mentality. And I agree with it. In the old school NBA, but not in the new NBA. Because there's all kinds of gamemanship and advantages franchises in the NBA are trying to gain for themselves through rest, because we started it. Load management, Kawhi Leonard. This is how they're doing it now. And in some ways, they're not just thinking about the game in front of you and just winning it because it's the action of winning it. They're thinking about next year and RJ Barrett not being on the shelf for months over the summer and missing out on summer just because he played the last game of the season. I get that. In some ways, that philosophy pisses me off. Because I'd like to win all out. I'd like to go for winning every game, but it just wasn't in the cards. We won our home finale against the Hornets, and we went to Texas and lost a 2-step. And the fans of the Mavericks and the Spurs were happy. Well, I don't know about the Mavericks, but the Spurs fans were happy to see their team win on their last game of the season. I want to look across the box score real quick and give some props to Chris Paul. Chris Paul was a huge reason why the Spurs won last night, partly because he started taking Jonathan Mobo to school. That man is old. He's like 38, and he just played 82 games in this season. In fact, Chris Paul did something that has not been done since Michael Jordan and John Stockton, 2 of the greatest players in their era, played 82 games in the 2003 season. That's the last time somebody that age has played all games in the season. Was 22 years ago that 82 games was played by a man as old as Chris Paul. That's a huge accomplishment. And in some ways, I got to give him credit. In fact, he was key late in the game. He really did spearhead the run to come back and beat us at the end. When the game was close in the fourth quarter, Chris Paul went and got baskets when they needed them to help put them ahead. So good job by him. Also, Stephon Castle, the probable rookie of the year, having a pretty good game with 20 points. Off the bench, Keldon Johnson was a problem, 10 for 14 with 9 rebounds, 23 points. Really annoying player there. And Harrison Barnes doing a little bit more of what he did against the Warriors the other day, hitting some big shots. The Barnes versus Barnes matchup was very entertaining. Scotty was beating Harrison sometimes, and then Harrison would beat Scotty. I know Scotty has said on his Twitch that he very much respects Harrison Barnes, that he has liked this game. We watched some highlights of him like 3 years ago, and he said, yeah, Harrison Barnes is a pretty good player, is what Scotty said. So he has a high opinion of his namesake, Harrison Barnes. But yeah, good job by the Spurs. And I applaud the Spurs for having a couple players with 82 games played: Julian Champagny, Harrison Barnes, and Chris Paul. And that's a big deal. Also, always love to see Busy out there. We love our Bismack. And him getting second life or third or fourth or fifth or sixth life, I don't know, in the NBA on the Spurs right now is fantastic to see. We love our Bismack Biyombo. So, yeah, good job, Spurs. Y'all made the home crowd happy. And in some ways, you gave them a show. I thought we were going to cruise to win, but 20-point leads are not safe in today's NBA. And the Raptors have to continue to put water in the bucket, or they can get outscored 39-21 in the third quarter and lose their lead. And that was no good whatsoever. In fact, our defense was pretty shoddy in this game. But what can you do when you have barely enough players to play and you get tired? You get tired. That's why you need depth. That's why you need a roster. That's why you need backups. Because if you only have 5 players available at the end of the game, there are only 5 players on the court. You have no bench. You literally have no bench because Castleton's fouled out and Lawson and Temple went out because of injury, and you only had 8 players to start. That's literally the Raptors limping to the finish line of the season, literally, because Garrett Temple's limping off the court. Seriously, it's just like that. It's just like that. It is what it is. It be what it be. It is what it is. James is here. Good to see Raptor Freak James. Can we scout Carter Bryant? He plays a lot like OG. Okay. Scotty, Carter Bryant, Shamshay. That's elite defense. Okay, so this guy is a real defensive guy, a really, really good defensive player. All right, let's go look at Carter Bryant. This is a scout of the day on the first day of the offseason for the Raptors team. So let's see who Carter Bryant is and learn all about him. This is a blind scout. I have no idea who this guy is. I've never heard of him until today. And this is what I do. All right, he's a small forward, power forward for the Arizona Wildcats, number 9. He's 19 years old. He's American from he's born in, where was he born? It doesn't even say where he's born. He grew up in California. So yeah, he's from California. He's a McDonald's All-American. And all right, let's see. His father played college basketball at Long Beach State. So yeah, is he what kind of recruit is he? It doesn't really have his stars or anything. Okay, he's a forward and he's 6'8", 220 pounds. All right, I'm gonna go to the YouTube and I'm gonna pull up a site. You guys liking me being back in the studio here, guys? And also, I got my light working today. I'm actually using the YouTube light that I have so that I can be lit up. I'm gonna, we're trying to bring up the production quality here. All right, these are gonna be his NCAA tournament highlights that just happened recently. Going on here with Carter Bryant. On Discord, I'm going to be able to share this screen and watch it with you guys in the future. So you all will actually be able to watch the clip with me when it happens. Okay, that's a block. Very nice block. It's pretty easy, though. I like the guy looks like he has a lot of arm strength already. He has very big muscles. And it looks like he's got a nice shoulder and torso strength. I like how he challenges players at the basket. He's a very good timing with shot blocking. There he is. He ran the court and came down the baseline through the back door, and he took a nice lob easy and threw it down with 2 hands. That's nice. So he gets a block on one end, runs all the way down the court to the other end, and calls for the lob, and it's easily dropped off to him and thrown down. I like seeing that. That's great stuff. When a guy gets a block shot like that, they should be rewarded with getting a basket like that too. There's a 3. Okay, we just saw him shoot a 3 from the outside, so it's good. It looks like he can shoot a 3. It's a Bryant number 9. That's interesting. He wears number 9, and he's Carter Bryant. So very, very interesting stuff. He misses his own 3-point shot. He runs down the rebound, and he jams it home on an offensive rebound. Very, very nice play there. I'm liking his length. I'm liking his strength. I feel like he's got a good wingspan. He's got good instincts on timing as far as getting up there. There, he just saved the ball from going out of bounds. He blocked it, and then he chased it down before it went out of bounds. That's crazy. So he blocked it from the side, and he chased it down and caught it before it went out of bounds. That's really smart play. Wow, he really is got some hops. Like that elevator goes up a couple floors there. It really does. Now, where's this guy getting projected? If this is a second round guy, man, oh my gosh, I'd be all about this dude. You're saying this guy's a good defender. I agree with you because I can see the combination of agility, size, and strength. Because that's the thing. This is a 6'8" guy that's not tethered to the ground. This guy's got hops. He can actually get up there. So that is really dangerous. That's when you start talking about Shaden Sharp stuff. You know what I'm saying? When you got a 6'8" guy that can jump like that, they can get up real high, and they are a defensive, really good player. I like this guy. I'm gonna give him a thumbs up, James. I like that he can shoot threes. I like that I've seen some playmaking in this clip. I like also that he runs the floor very well, and he is definitely a shot blocking threat, which is great. There's a half court heave against Oregon that he made it the end of the first half. Wow, that was a pretty big shot there. That was past half court, and that was in the tournament. Interesting stuff. All right, I've seen enough. I've seen enough here. Carter Bryant's gonna get a thumbs up from me. Where is he? Where is he projected? Is he projected to be second round or sometime in the first? Because man, that dude looks pretty good, man. I like him, man. I like him. Like third shot blocking bigs. Yeah, I'll put him on there, Carter Bryant. But I don't know, not with our high pick. I don't know. It depends on where he's coming off of the draft boards. If he's in the 39th pick and we get a player like that at 39, I'd be very happy. I'd be very, very happy. Trevor's saying we should have won this game yesterday, but we failed to lock in on defense and let the Spurs, hang on, and let the Spurs beat it back in. Yeah, back in the studio. Yeah, they let them back. And, the Spurs are a well-coached team. Like people were saying on the chat, there's a Popovich team, and they're playing the Popovich system under Mitch Johnson to come back and win the game yesterday. And that is a testament to the Spurs program and the way that they run their roster and the way they do things. So I can't get mad at that. In some ways, the Spurs are the Spurs. They do what they do. And, I don't know if Mitch Johnson is going to be their coach next year, but, he did an okay job filling in for Popovich this season. But, yeah, they're not in the playoffs just like us. So it is what it is. Their season's over just like ours is over. Smooth saying, morning, warm in the studio? It's better. It's better. Yeah. I got a little heater on in here. And, I wanted to make a change to signify the offseason. This was the surprise I was going to give you all a couple weeks ago. But things were not working with the internet at the time. So the internet wasn't working right. So I couldn't move out here. I was going to move out here when I was saying, hey, I got a surprise for you guys. Was going to be coming back out to the studio. Well, the surprise came the day after the season's over. So that's why I'm out here. Yeah. Trevor's saying, you see what happened with a meaningless game? People get hurt. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And that's what I'm saying. Thank God they weren't super crucial starters like Scotty. I mean, Scotty did get a little hurt yesterday, but Scotty's tough. He's going to be fine. He walked it off. But you saw him limping at the end of the game after he made a shot. And, Garrett, he could be seriously injured. We don't know yet. We got to find out about him. And hopefully Lawson's is just like a nagging hamstring injury and nothing too serious either. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. In some ways, it's insurance. You play the bare minimum of guys that you got just because you don't want to injure Brandon Ingram. He comes back and plays one game at the end of the season, gets hurt, Emmanuel or, stuff like that. We don't want any of these guys getting hurt. So that's part of the reasoning why we lost is because we're saving guys in a meaningless game from getting hurt. And that makes sense to me in some ways. That's right. G's here. G's saying, Jameson, wow. Yeah, he was so dialed in the first half. It was a joy to watch him just throwing them in. And a lot of it was sidestepping threes. The defender would come at him. He'd be patient. He'd step to the side, and then he'd drain it. Some of the threes that he shot were contested with guys right in his face, and he still nailed them. So there was some good signs from Battle. It's just too bad he couldn't carry the heat into the second half because he really went cold after halftime. He really, really did. G saying Jameson is not used to that much workload in games. Reps and endurance over time, he can keep that going most of the game. This is the thing that he needs to work on for 905. Seriously. And this is something we didn't totally see down on 905. He had some good games down there, but he never had like a game where it's just like this guy dominated and got 30 points. And he just shot the lights out down there. This is one of his best games of the season. I mean, Jameson didn't get like a lot of 20-point games down on 905 totally, guys. He really kind of was around like 10 to 15 or just under 20. But getting over 20 points on 905 wasn't even happening down there. So getting 25 in this game is a big deal because in some ways his 905 days, even there, he wasn't filling it up like he did last night. So I would give this to Jameson. Listen, you're going to have to get your endurance up. You're going to have to get ready to, like, if you want to have a big, huge game, you got to be able to handle it as far as like not getting tired and not losing your shot as you progress shooting more and more in the game, because that's what happened last night. You got tired and your shot went off, and that's no good. So in the 905 environment, it's a great place for Jamison to work on the stamina, to be a more of a main option player and get a lot of shots and see if he can get a 30-point game and kill it down there. Because he really didn't, like, even down on 905, like I said, this season, he didn't have a lot of games where he just went off and got like a 30-point game. We didn't see that much down there. G, it's always good to see you. And G's name is on that trophy right there. The first ever Raptor Freak Trivia Champion is on that Trivia Champion trophy right there. That's right. Fiercey's here. MJ, good morning to you. Good morning, fam. Happy Monday. Scotty was feeling it and had a great display. Battle started hot, but then fizzled. Our first half was way better. We were really fast and high energy. Yeah, and then the energy just went out the window. You don't have a bench. You don't have guys to come in and take time for you, and you just get tired. The other team doesn't get as tired because they've got people coming in as reserve, and they kind of like get rest and come out. We didn't have enough people. We really didn't. In some ways, people would say, well, how does that happen? This roster now has so many two-ways. The NBA rosters are like 17 people. How do we get down to only having 5 live bodies at the end of the game yesterday? Seriously, I wonder that too. It's like, look, this is, I know, I get it. Brandon, Grady, Jacoby, those guys are all hurt and they're sitting on the bench. Shamshay. But, it's just, it's annoying. It's annoying. And I get the old school mentality is like, no, this is not acceptable. But also at the same time, I get the long-term capability thinking of being like, yeah, we cannot risk getting hurt in a game that don't mean jack shit. So the Raptors will finish the season 30-52, plus 5 wins over the first season of Darko. I'll take it. That's what I wanted at the beginning of the season, was just to get more wins than 25 and improve off of the first year of Rajakovic. And well, we liked it. It was good. In some ways, like I said, again, this season was more fun to cover and easier to cover than last year. This is just the truth. Maybe some of it was the heartache of saying goodbye to great Raptors like Pascal Siakam and OG Anunoby. Maybe some of it was just the horrible losing at the end of the season without Scotty and Jakob on the team. It was depressing and horrible by this time in last year. But it was also optimistic and the vibes were strong on the team, regardless of the very, very poor wins in the last part of the season last year. So either way, this season was easier to sail through with the Raptors on this channel, doing a stream every day, than it was last year. And it was more enjoyable. Honestly, I enjoyed it. A lot of the pressure to win and other things was off because this is a development year. This is for the young rookies, and this is for getting better. And in some ways, when we had games where it's like, well, I don't care if we win or lose because we're in a development year and winning is not necessarily what we're trying to do right now. Well, that takes a lot of the pressure off of feeling like mad when we don't win. And I know some people couldn't get like that, like I was this year. They just wanted to win anyway, and they were pissed off. And I respect that too. It's just that in some ways I was like, you know what? We can't lose right now. We win whether we win or lose. And that's what I was thinking all season long. And it was much easier to digest this crazy ass season because of that. So yeah, let's see what else Fiercey's saying. Our third quarter was bad. I hope Temple is good. Health is wealth, especially at his age. Chris Paul played all 82 games this season. So did Champagny and Harrison and Chris. But Chris is 39. It's a huge accomplishment. I mean, in this era of load management, in this era of older players, it just is a testament to how he takes care of his body. And he showed up every single night. He's not worried about back-to-backs. That man showed up for every single back-to-back that San Antonio had this year. And he played out there. And I know Spurs fans love him for it. You know, Chris Paul's not necessarily a popular player around the league in certain ways. Some people look down on him. Some people think he's annoying. He's a jerk. But, you know, people that know basketball, like the Spurs fans, they appreciate and respect and love Chris Paul. It may be that he only plays this season for them, and he may not play for them next year. But people love him. And they think that he's a great player that the Spurs had this year. And they really, really enjoyed having him on the team. I could tell. Spurs Nation loves Chris Paul. And rightfully so. I love him too. He's a fantastic player. And I've always been a big fan of Chris Paul's, even when he was on other teams that I didn't really like. That's right. Mo's here. Good to see Superfan Mo. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Yeah, everyone says it's a development year. I get it, but losing season, not for me. Amazing way to go. Jameson, baby Clay Thompson. Yeah, I think that's an insult to me because I don't like Clay Thompson. Anytime anybody compares anybody Clay Thompson, I'm like, don't say that because I don't like him and he's kind of scrub to me. Seriously, I think that Clay Thompson is way overrated. Honestly, I've always thought that. I think that Clay Thompson's only good because he played next to Steph Curry. And now that he's not playing next to Steph Curry, you see who Clay Thompson is on Dallas. So I've always thought this. Clay Thompson thought he was like one of the top 75 players in the NBA's history. You're an idiot. And also, I've never thought of him as one of the greatest players of his generation. He gets way too much credit, and it's really because he played next to Curry. If he didn't have Curry next to him, Klay Thompson wouldn't have a career like he does. Seriously. So I won't say that about Jameson because in some ways he's his own person. But everybody's got their own perspective. Yeah, this year's been a development year, and I know that's not been easy for Mo. Mo's all about winning, and I am too. And next year, hopefully, we'll get back on that track more. But I mean, I knew the assignment at the beginning of the year, and I didn't want to have any kind of crazy expectations in certain ways. And, the season kind of went exactly how we thought it would in some ways. I was hoping we could make the play in or the playoffs, but, injuries kind of hurt us in a really, really very, 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 very poorly balanced NBA schedule that the NBA made for us this year is a big part of it also. The fact that we had every single one of our tough games in the first 2 months of the season and every single one of our easy games in the last 2 months of the season, that's bullshit, honestly. In some ways, we went through this season. We improved from last year. Our players improved, and that's the wins. Because honestly, the NBA put it up against us this season by doing the schedule the way they did. They really did. Fiercely saying update on provincials after playing and winning plus 18 games throughout the school season, including 2 tournaments. We folded at the finals yesterday. Heartbreaking as it was our first loss. Man, still nice experience, and we won the silver medal. So Fiercely Salcera Jr. winning the semifinal in the early game on Sunday, going to the finals, and then losing in the finals and getting second. You know what? That's a fantastically successful year. You guys are one of the top teams in your province, and that is nothing to be discouraged by. In some ways, there's going to be just one winner, and there's going to be how many losers? I don't know. There's 30 teams in the NBA. There's probably way more teams and that were competing in the provincials that Fiercely Salcera was in. So this is a hugely successful year. I don't believe in Ricky Bobby bullshit. There's only number one, Talladega Nights. I'm just saying, I feel like, teams that are successful and win overall, you shouldn't hang your head. Do you think the Houston Cougars should hang their head about this season for themselves? No, they shouldn't. They beat Duke, and they didn't win in the finals, though. They got second. But you think that the Cougars should hang their head, Kelvin Sampson and them? No, they had an extremely successful year, if not winning the national championship by beating Florida. So, that's what I say right there, Fiercey. Fantastic. Congratulations to Fiercey Salcera Jr. on a very successful year. And, well, there's a future that's very, very, very bright over there for Fiercey Jr. That's right. We'll put the glasses on for the future so bright. We got to wear shades. That's right. Stargate's here. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Good morning to Stargate, the man that beat the machine. Good to talk to you yesterday in the chat. Great discourse on Discord yesterday after the game with Lex. Big up to Wayne, Blackhawk, Tristan, Adriana, and Jillian. Yeah, and I really love that in some ways, like I said, I don't have to be there. If you guys want to come into Discord and have your own little talks, I don't have to always be there. That's just a meeting place for the RFF to come in and have discussions. If you see somebody in the voice chat in there, like Wayne's in there right now, I believe, you can just say, hey, what's up? And talk to each other. Anything. I don't have to be there exactly, but I like being there and I will be there. But also, it was really fun to kind of be a fly on the wall and listen to you guys talk and without me even being involved. It was really cool to listen to you guys. And yeah, it was a very lively chat. And I'm telling everybody, if you want to be involved in the extracurricular stuff with the RFF, you got to be on Discord. We got to figure this out, Mo. We got to figure this out because there was too much stuff happening yesterday that you need to be a part of. That's right. That's right. Oh, and Trevor J as well. Yeah, Trevor came in for a second. Of course, Trevor's busy. Trevor's always entertaining during games, and he's quite often having food made. He's got his food trucks. He's got a food truck business. And he's always showing us pictures on the Discord of what he's cooking. Man, he had some fried fish yesterday or something that he had on the menu yesterday. It looked really good. It was really looking good. Like, man, it's making me hungry. Why you do this to me, Trevor J? Putting this great food up on the Discord all the time, making me have to go eat some food from my kitchen immediately because I see Trevor's food. I'm like, damn, I'm hungry now. Trevor, oh my gosh, he does this to me every time, man. He does this to me every time. Monique saying Bobby Webster regarding the team roster. It's a super dynamic team offensively. It's a versatile team on the defensive end. Yeah, we've got good players that are two-way players. A lot of them. A lot of our guys are good on both ends, and that's a good thing to have in today's NBA. You need to have good defense, and you need to have good offensive power. Yeah, there's an article out on ESPN. Of course, they've done the year-end reviews for the teams, and they've got ours figured out. It's basically like what are the primers for the offseason for each team, and I'll read the one for Toronto right now. Toronto finished with a 30-52 record. Their draft picks in June are their own draft pick, number 7 in the lottery draft right now. We'll see what the pick is actually after the lottery. And then number 30/40 via Portland. I don't know what that means. Either it's 40 or 39 or 40. It could very well be there's a coin flip between two teams because of record, and that we may be getting the 40th pick or the 39th pick. I think that's what that means. Our odds at the number 1 pick are 7.5%. And our only 2 free agents that are listed by ESPN are Chris Boucher and Garrett Temple. So pretty much everybody else that was on our team is not in free agency this summer. So it is really going to be a light free agency kind of off season where it's really make a decision with Temple or Boucher or get somebody else on an exception. The state of the roster. The lottery-bound Raptors took the rare step of trading first-round pick at the deadline, acquiring Brandon Ingram from New Orleans, and then giving him a 3-year extension worth $120 million. But the move wasn't about the season. Instead, Toronto took the proactive approach of getting ahead in free agency. The Raptors did not have the cap space to sign Ingram outright without a trade. It takes a lot of really good players to win this league, and so this is just sort of an incremental step along the way as opposed to some big flag in the sand type move, Raptors GM Bobby Webster said in February. Webster and president of basketball operations Masai Ujiri have taken the approach of not bottoming out and building solely through the draft. Instead, the goal has been to add established young players. Scotty Barnes is 23, Emmanuel Quickley is 25, RJ Barrett is 24, Brandon is still just 27. So I think even from that perspective, it's a young core, Webster said. We'll continue the rebuild. I think this is a progress. No change in progress or timeline. There you go. That's Bobby Webster quote there. Since last January, Toronto has acquired Ingram, Quickley, and Barrett through trades. Those 3, along with Barnes and Jakob Poeltl, are under contract for at least the next 2 seasons. For next season, 89% of their salary cap is tied up in those 5 players. So, yeah, these guys are all under contract. Our starting 5 is all under contract for next season and the season after that, y'all. So I don't want to hear no worry and gaslighting about keeping guys under contract until the year after next year. Next year, no free agency talk. But the season after that, they're going to be talking about extensions and trying to figure out who's going to be what the year after that. So next year, we shouldn't hear it. The Raptors will add a lottery pick and a second rounder to join last year's 4-man rookie class. Now, this is where ESPN gives us the shine finally for our rookie class. Right here, but it's hidden in this and not on any rookie report anywhere. The Raptors have gotten more than 1,500 points from Jacoby Walter, Jamal Shed, Jamison Battle, and Jonathan Mobo this season, trailing only the Wizards in total points from rookies. The Raptors are the only team to have 4 rookies with at least 300 points this season. Yeah, off-season finances. Toronto enters the offseason with limited flexibility outside of their first-round pick, including a likely top 10 pick. Toronto is over the tax and $1.3 million over the first apron. The Raptors can use up to $5.6 million of their non-tax mid-level exception and veteran minimum exception available. They also have the biannual exception, but that would hard cap them at the first apron. They will also have a second-round pick. Top front office priority, the draft, roster valuation, and health. This is only the 3rd time Toronto has had a lottery pick since 2016. The highest they have drafted since Ujiri took over was when the team took Barnes at number 4 in 2021. And the other 2 were Jakob Poeltl and this pick. So those are the only 3 top 10 picks we've had since 2016, guys, is Pirtle, Barnes, and this one we're going to get this year. Evaluating the roster is more of a discussion for training camp because of the ankle injury Ingram suffered in New Orleans. The preseason will be the first time to see how he fits with his new teammates. In the small sample of possessions this season with Quickly, Barnes, Barrett, and Pirtle on the court together, Toronto averaged 102.2 points and were outscored by 8.5 points per 100 possessions. There are positives to the roster. Even without Ingram on the court, the Raptors went 22-21 after January 13th. That improvement from the start of the season, they started 8-31, is a result of a defense that ranked second in efficiency and first in opponent effective field goal percentage since that date. And then there is the question of roster durability. Out of the 5 key players on the roster, Quickly, Barnes, Ingram, Barrett, and Pirtle, only Quickly has played more than 64 games in a season since 2022-2023. That's not true. Barnes played 65 yesterday. They're not on it here. The extension candidates to watch. Ochai Agbaji quietly has become one of the league's better defenders. Agbaji ranks in the top 10 in the effective field goal percentage allowed versus 2025 All-Stars per second spectrum tracking. He also ranked in the top 10 in field goal percentage allowed as the contesting defender among those who faced at least 600 shots this season. Offensively, he had career highs in points, 10.3, rebounds, 3.8, and field goal percentage, 50%, and three-point percentage, 40%. Agbaji is extension eligible through October 20th. Other extension candidates, Boucher until January the 30th. So there is an option to extend Chris Boucher sometime before June, the end of June. And Barrett as of October the 1st, and Pirtle can all be eligible for extensions in the near future. The team needs. The Raptors get a shot creator with the addition of Ingram, something they have sorely missed this season. According to Second Spectrum, the Raptors ranked last and made off the dribble jumpers per game this season. Ingram, albeit in a small sample of 18 games, ranked 6th in the league in those shots up until his ankle injury on December the 7th. So this is what we need. We need a shot creator, and well, we got one. He's just been hurt. He's going to come in soon. Draft assets. The Raptors have their own first-round pick in every draft through 2031. They are allowed to trade up to 5 first-round picks, including their lottery pick in June. Toronto has 8 future second-round picks available also. So we have all our picks. We haven't been like other teams and stacked all our picks in crazy big deals for superstars. So that's ESPN's outlook for the Raptors offseason right there. I think it's pretty fair what they said. Yeah. G saying, yes, the setup looks professional and fun. Yeah, it's a little bit better than what I'm normally doing inside. Like, it is what it is. And this is where I'll probably be for most of the summer now. So it's like the other wall is for when it's cold in the winter. And now that it's summertime, I'll be out here in the studio. That's right. You think it looks good, James? I appreciate that, man. He's saying that Carter Bryant is projected to be 10 to 20, but I think he's going to shoot up. He's a two-way player. So you're saying that we would get him in the first-round pick? I don't know, man. Like, if that pick turns out to be like the 4th pick, like Scotty, I don't know, man. In some ways, we got to go with those blue chippers that are known. But I like this kid. If some ways he's a first-rounder in the late teens, that may not be the spot where we're at, and it may not work. Most saying Bobby Webster on who the Raptors are looking for in the 2025 NBA draft. We're looking for two-way players. We're looking for players that compete. Yeah, those are 2 good attributes for us to have. Two-way is almost important. Very, very essential. Derek Queen, Common Mulawach, two-way players? Probably. Yeah, you could say Derek Queen is a two-way player, I would think. Yeah. Let's see. Most also saying Bobby Webster saying Darko had a great season. The things we talked about when we hired him, incredibly energetic, a passion for the game, stays positive, incredibly communicative with this generation. Yeah, he came as advertised. He said certain things to them in the interviews, and they were like, wow, this guy's great, and he's doing what he said. That's great. When you hire somebody and they're not lollygagging or not what they said, that sucks. I mean, there's reports this morning that the Suns are already looking for their next head coach and that Mike Budenholzer is going to be fired soon. That's crazy. The Suns have kept a coach for 1 year exactly like the last couple of years. They keep firing coaches. And, well, it might be Budenholzer next. That's why the Raptors took a while to figure out who they would hire after Nick Nurse. And well, it's paid off because they did their due diligence in the hiring process to get a good person. That's right. They talked to him when they hired him about being a people person and being this and being that, a development coach, and well, an X's and O's strategy coach. We'll see that as we start to win more and more. That's right. Trevor J is saying, I'd rather see players sit out than get hurt and not available for training camp next season. Then we will be saying, why didn't they let them sit? Yeah, that's the catch-22. The negative people are going to point to the side that's going to be annoying and gaslighting either way. You know, they say, oh, they didn't play them. You know, that's wrong. Oh, they play them. They got hurt. They'll get pissed off about that too. Trevor's exactly right. They did it the way they need to. This is where you trust Masai Ujiri. You got to trust them, even though it seems like this. Yeah. Nako's saying, I low-key wish Scotty finished with 40. I did too. I wanted Scotty to get more points. I mean, he was showing a lot of aggression. And the stuff in the paint and stuff like that, he's so good. He is so good. And he's been battling bigger guys a lot lately. In that Dallas game, he had to battle Anthony Davis. And, well, he didn't do horrible, honestly. In some ways, Anthony Davis did eat our lunch. But Scotty showed signs early in the game that he could do some stuff there. Definitely. He did some stuff. Yeah, good to see you, Gerald. Always happy to see you in the chat. Reggie's saying, I was on X and I saw Pencer set up a bit of a firestorm saying Scotty Barnes is better than Kate Cunningham. Curious to your thoughts on that, Lex. Of course, I'm going to go with our guy, Scott. I mean, this is the thing. Those guys are best friends, and there's a friendly rivalry. And in some ways, they don't hate each other. They want to push each other. And in some ways, they could be a more marquee matchup if the NBA wanted to put them on blast more. That would be interesting. But no, they don't. And it's looking like more and more that Evan Mobley is going to end up being the defensive player of the year. Jack Armstrong picked him on his picks last night as his defensive player of the year pick. I hate that. I mean, I get it. The Cavs have a really good record, but I hate the idea of Evan Mobley getting a defensive player of the year award before Scotty. And I don't want that. In some ways, this isn't about Cade versus Scotty. This is about Scotty versus this whole rookie class. And that includes Franz, Josh Giddey, and Cade and Evan. And Scotty was ahead because he was the rookie of the year in that class. But in some ways, you know, other guys have picked up all-stars now. Cade Cunningham getting an all-star last year. And if Evan Mobley is he got an all-star also. And if he is the defensive player of the year, well, Scott, you got some accolades to catch up with these guys. Seriously. So I'm not comparing Scott with just Cade. I'm comparing him with all those guys from his class. And specifically, Evan Mobley, Franz Wagner, Josh Giddey, Cade Cunningham, a little bit of Jalen Green, a little bit of Jalen Suggs, but really all those guys get compared to him. That's right. I will always say Scotty's better than all of them. I'm a Raptors freak. What do you think I'm going to say? Scotty has more potential. He's a better all-round player. He's the right kind of player compared to those guys. Cade Cunningham can come out this season and say publicly, I want to be the best player in the league. Okay, well, that's what Scott wants too. Let's see. Y'all going to rise up the challenge of your rivals? That's what's going to happen. Survivor, Eye of the Tiger. That's right. That's right. Nins is here. Y'all, thank you, Nins, for the work you're doing on the Discord server. I want to see more bells and whistles. I want you to discover more about the potential of the Discord server for us. I don't mind if you do very sweeping changes and crazy stuff right now. If it's not that good, well, I might ask you to change it back. But I'm very curious to know more potential about the site Discord. And Nins is my guy that knows the best. He said, morning, Lex, Rap Freak family. Season over. Now I have to figure out what to do with all my time. Well, mess around with our Discord a little bit. That'd be great, man. I don't mind. Like, I don't know if there's kind of ways you can, I don't know if there's ways to change different areas. I want to figure out this basketball bot. I think that there's some things about like the way it looks that we could even change it more. Like I like what you've done already with the different colored names and the front office and the gold members and all that stuff. But I feel like there's even more stuff we could do on Discord that's like utilized that they already have set up. And I just don't know what it's all about. You're unlocking it for me, man. But Nins, big salute to Nins. And y'all, let's give him a dunk for his helping out as being the admin for our Discord server, because man, he's helping us guide us, and we do need to help Monique some more to try and get in there. 24 points on the dunk charts for Nins right now. Yeah, Stargate saying I think Jameson is more comparable to Max Strus than Klay Thompson. I'd agree with this. In some ways, it's because of position. In some ways, it may be because of capabilities. I mean, I could get behind this. Max Strus is better than Georges Yang. At least you didn't say Georges Yang. At least you didn't say Georges Yang. If you'd said Yang, I would have been like, what? Huh? Let's see. Mo's saying Jamison Battle joins Andrea Bargnani. And the great Damon Stoudemire is the only Toronto Raptors rookies with a 100 or more threes made in a season. That's hard to believe that Grady didn't get there. But then again, Grady had half the season where he didn't really play that well. I would have thought Grady got 100 threes in his rookie season, but he didn't because he was hurt the first half of the season. He didn't really come on until the second half of the season. And he may be very, very close in his rookie year to getting 100 threes. Let me go look at that, actually. I want to go see how many did Grady get in his rookie year, because I would have thought that he would have been very close in some ways. Let's go see. Where is it? I got the stats right here. He made 88 threes in his first year. He made 114 this year, though. Yeah, so he was 12 shy. If he had played more in the first half and been better, he would have gotten it too, I'll bet. That's an interesting list. The only people on that, Mo, Damon Stoudemire, Andrea Bargnani, and Jamison Battle. That's an interesting Raptor Freak trivia. Put that one, a pin in it, and remember it, because who knows? That could be trivia tomorrow. Nah, it's not going to be tomorrow. But that's an interesting trivia right there. That Battle, Bargnani, and Damon are the only three rookies in Raptors history to get 100 or more threes. Wow, in their rookie season. James is saying this next. Let's see. Jamison is the new Jason Capono. Yeah, I want to give him a little bit more credit than that. A little bit more credit than that. I feel like he has more possibilities inside with his offense than Capono, because he has shown a little bit of push shots and kind of like a little bit of stuff around the rim. Like he was throwing it down at the rim. I don't know. Capono was such a straight up 3-point shooter role player. And I want to say that Battle has a little bit more rebounding too, if that's a more fair. I still think that the best comparison right now is Strus that anybody's said so far. Let's see. Fiercey saying, yes, the future is bright for Fiercey Jr. and also the Raptors. I hope they rest well in the offseason and looking forward to the content when they all link back up this summer. Yeah, it'll be fun to keep up with the Raptors this offseason. Hopefully they're just going to have fun, rest, very healthy, lots of work, development, and getting better and better like they have done the last couple summers. So that's going to be really good, man. Stargate saying, nah, Lex, you got to be on there with us, man. We need you there. No, I'm in there. It's just that I feel good about resting my voice and letting y'all talk a lot. I can kind of just sit and listen to you guys. But yeah, I'll be there and I'll chime in and give my little 2 cents here and there. But I do like that it's like you guys were all talking more than I was talking, like the stream. It's kind of like that's what I mean. But I'll be there. I'll be there. I promise. MJ saying, Trevor J posted smoothies on Discord. I will try them. Trying to eat clean well as much as possible. At NINS, until Summer League, I will watch WNBA and CBL. You will see the Raps in no time. So now that the season's over, and now that the fantasy season's over, and congratulations to Peter Saborin for repeating as our Yahoo Fantasy Raptor Freak basketball champion. He did beat Cass 4-3 in the game, and it was the steals category that was very, very important in that championship matchup. So yeah, Peter is a repeat champion of our fantasy league, and we're going to have to figure out how I'm going to have to talk to Peter. I'm going to send him a message or something like that, figure out what we're going to do to get him his prize. But yeah, congratulations to him. And well, now that the season's over and that's over, we need to start thinking about drafting for our WNBA fantasy league. I'll have to set that up very soon and get it on ready so that we don't miss the start of the WNBA season. So that's going to be one of the next things that's coming up, is we're going to have a WNBA fantasy draft for a WNBA fantasy league. So we'll be ready with that soon. Yeah, we'll see the Raps in no time. Summer League, we'll see you in Vegas, Colin Castleton and Jamison Battle. That's right. Nako's saying Cade's real smart and fast and super athletic. If offense means more Cade, if defense means more Scotty. So you say if offense means more, Cade is the better player. And if that's fair. That's fair. That's all fair right there, Nako. That's a fair delineation. But we'll have to see. Over time, I'm a hometown guy. Of course, I'm going to go with my guy, Scott. Of course I'm going to. They probably talk to each other on the phone and maybe argue about this amongst themselves. Seriously, Kate's probably talking to Scotty, and Scotty's like, man, I'm better. And like, oh, no, I'm better, man. And they have a lot of trash talk. I'm sure they do. MJ saying no free agency talks for the year to come. How will Grange and Lewinberg do without the toxicity? What will they write on? Well, that's the great thing about having them all lined up together. In some ways, that's a detriment, but also at the same time, it's like we get a free period of time where free agency discussions were not prevalent this year. We didn't hear people whining and crying about what's going to happen with OG or this or Pascal this. No, there was none of that like the year before. This year was very nice for that. That's another reason why I enjoyed this season because there was no gaslighting by the press about free agency extensions and stuff like that. They couldn't even do it about Brandon at the end of the year. They wanted to, but Bobby went ahead and did the extension for Brandon already, so they can't. So I love all that. So yeah, it's interesting, and I like that. Next season, hopefully, will be like this also. We won't hear this crap. They'll have to wait until the year after that. Ninja saying, I'll definitely will tap into WNBA to get my basketball fix and get prepared for the tempo. Yeah, we got to learn the lay of the land in the WNBA. We got to learn who the superstars and the top teams are, and we got to learn who the players are because there's going to be an expansion draft. And there's going to be players that are playing this year that are going to be tempo next year. And they're going to be people that are not protected in the expansion draft. And the Toronto Tempo will be able to snatch them up and put them on their team. So we're going to need to know who our players are before we get them. And some of them are going to be playing on other teams this year. And we need to see them ahead of time. That's right. Smooth saying the Suns are paying Frank Vogel to not coach them. Firing Budenholzer is a mistake. Front office is incompetent. Yeah, I feel like they just are too quick to make mistakes. Now, that article I saw that they're looking for a new coach, there's no confirmation that they are firing Budenholzer. This could be a rumor. In some ways, it's like, yeah, Trevor, I know you're bringing me stuff from different places, but some of these sites you're sending me are not reputable. And there's nothing official about Budenholzer being fired, but there is rumors that they're looking at other people already and that he will be fired. So we'll see if that's true. But I agree with Smooth Brown Man that this is idiotic. Y'all went from Monty Williams to Frank Vogel to Mike Budenholzer and all of them, and it fails. I don't think it's the coach, y'all. I don't think it's the coach. I think the issue may be your roster and the certain players that you have around it. And, well, maybe instead of firing Mike Budenholzer, Matasheba, maybe you need to trade Kevin Durant. That's what you need to do. I think that's what you need to do. Jillian's here again. Morning, freaks. Good morning to you, Jill. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a nice morning. Trevor's saying tonight is the WNBA draft. Okay. Well, in some ways, this is a sign that we're going to need to get our draft for fantasy WNBA up very soon. I'm going to investigate the timeline for when the WNBA starts and when we need to do this draft and get it done by. It's very likely the draft will be done on a Sunday morning. In fact, it could be done this Sunday coming up. We'll have to see. So be ready. I'll let everybody know there'll be limited spots to be in this league because unlike the Yahoo Fantasy, ESPN Fantasy only allows like 12 teams. So if you want to play in this league, you're going to have to really want to. I don't want people that are going to come in and be deadbeat managers. We want the really active managers in such a small league like this is what's going to happen. So we're going to get this figured out. Stargate saying I popped into Zazu Spaces last night for a bit, and lo and behold, what do I hear? Scotty bashing and trade RJ in the offseason talk. I don't know why I do that to myself. Yeah, I mean, it's like the kids' playroom. You know, if this is like the family gathering, well, we're at the adult table and they're the kids' table. And, well, it's just what it is. I mean, it is what it is. These idiots are going to say this stuff. And like I said, there's going to be a lot of people that are involved in our fan nation that are not actually fans of our team and don't want what's good for our team. And that's what it sounds like was going on in Zazu Spaces last night is a bunch of people that don't understand what's good for the Raptors and need to shut the fuck up is what it sounds like to me is going on there. Yeah. Nako saying Jamison Battle walks the par. Matt Thomas was destined yet failed to walk. Walks the path. Is that what she meant to say? Jamison Battle walks the path. Matt Thomas was destined yet failed to walk. Nah, that's not a fair comparison either. You know, Matt Thomas is not even Jason Capono, and Jason Capono is not Jamison Battle. You're going even further down. You know, say Matt Thomas went above and beyond where he was supposed to go. Seriously, a player like Matt Thomas should have just been a college player. Never should have had any NBA time. So in some ways, Matt Thomas went above and beyond. Raptors legend during Tampa season, Matt Thomas. Yeah, I don't know. I can't get behind this. I don't know what the path for Matt Thomas was destined to be. He had a really good path considering his abilities and who he was. He got an NBA career. That man, most people that look like him and play like him do not even make the NBA. So he's super successful. There's levels to this, is what I'm saying. Kaloy saying, morning, Lex from Raptor Freak family. Great weather outside already. I put my shorts on. Yeah, you put your shots in, my shots in. You put your shots in or your shorts in. I don't even know what you mean there. It's all good. Good to see you, Kaloy. Hope you and Santino are having a great Monday morning. Trevor's saying, Lex, I already mailed you the trophy. You should receive it any day. What? You mailed me something and you didn't tell me? All right, Trevor. All right, I'll be looking out for it. The mailman's been having trouble finding my house, but we'll hopefully find it. Maybe it's at the mail. I'm going to go to the post office today, so I'm going to go down there today and look for my election information. But yeah, if y'all need to go get your election cards, make sure you get them in the mail. It'll tell you where you're going to elect. You're going to vote for the federal election. So be ready for this. All Canadians need to vote. This is a very important vote. And do not vote for the conservatives. Please do not vote for the conservatives. That's the worst thing you can do right now. That is the worst thing you can do. All right, let's see. Kaloy saying Scotty has more potential. He already does everything better than Cade. Once Scotty gets more consistent and more winning, is going to be hands down Scotty. See, that's actually what I think too. Exactly, right there. James saying Scotty's going to get a lot of easy buckets next season with Ingram, kind of like when Pascal was around. I think this is probably true too. I can see this happening. James is probably right on point here. Trevor's saying Jamison Battle has the most minutes played for the Raptors this season. That's what I'm saying. In some ways, these rookies, they played a lot of minutes and they were tired and they're used to college seasons and less games played. Well, they played in the NBA. 82 games is a grind. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you got basketball shots in. So you were not taking any kind of shots in the morning except for basketball shots. So you got up and shot shots already. That's awesome, man. I love that. All right, you guys, let's do the straight goods on the Canadian goods real quick. And I'm going to go with the old favorite here. I wasn't totally sure who owned this company at this point, but Cara owns it, Cara Foods. And I used to work for Cara Foods. Actually, I did at Ontario Place. That was my boss when I worked at Ontario Place. Well, they still own Harvey's. Harvey's is Canadian owned. And if you guys eat at Harvey's, you're eating 100% Canadian Angus beef. And their dairy is all 100% Canadian also. So a whole old standard of fast food. Don't go to McDonald's. Don't go to Burger King. Don't go to Wendy's. Go to Harvey's, a Canadian classic. That's right. I'm putting Harvey's on blast this morning, y'all. Harvey's was started in Toronto in 1959. The guy went down to the Danforth and he bought a sign off a car dealership. The car dealership was called Harvey's. And the sign, the original sign for the Harvey's restaurant that he opened in Richmond Hill in 1959 was a sign from a car dealership that was called Harvey's. So they used the car dealership sign for the first Harvey's restaurant, which opened up in Richmond Hill, y'all. And, they got bigger and bigger and bigger. And, well, the Harvey's is an institution. They have locations all across Canada except for in the British Columbia, which is weird. There's no Harvey's in British Columbia, apparently. But, yeah, they've done a good job. They're a partner with Tree Canada. And their goal is to plant 250,000 trees across the country by next year to help compensate for CO2 emissions. They also use 100% Canadian dairy. They use 100% recycled paper packaging now at this point. And they're just very much doing a lot of good things at this point. Harvey's. So y'all, I got you straight goods on Canadian goods. And Harvey's is still a fast food restaurant that is owned by Canadians, and the money stays in our economy. So, yeah, the headquarters of Harvey's is in Vaughan, Ontario, and they have 290 Harvey's locations across Canada, 6,000 employees. So go ahead and support a good Canadian institution. The Harvey's Burgers. Now, I know Harvey's have gone downhill since they kind of changed things a bit. Like I remember as a kid, it was much better. But still, if you want to eat fast food, don't go to these American chains. Harvey's is still a Canadian choice, man. Harvey's is still a Canadian choice. That's right. That's right. James is saying Harvey's is underrated. There you go. I like that. Reggie's saying that Matt Thomas was considered the best three-point shooter of the NBA at the time. He could only do that, though. Nothing else. Yep. He was just a one-trick pony. He had no defense. He was a complete liability on the court. That's for sure. Yeah. Most saying W stream, W vibes. Go Raptors for life. Keep at it always, Lex. Raptor Free Crew Strong forever. Just helping Lex limit the comments. Let's keep our heads in the right place. There you go. Thank you, Mo, for the cutoff. I appreciate that. Stargate saying, yes, Harvey's is Canadian. Harvey's or Arby's, not Arby's. Arby's is American. I know Arby's roast beef is American, but Harvey's, the burger place, the place where you come in and get those sliced pickles and on your burger and they'll make it in front of you, Yeah, that's still a Canadian brand, and that's it. Yeah, Trevor said it was a surprise. I didn't want to tell you until you guys finished the fantasy. Okay, so you're sending me the trophy now. Well, at least with Peter, I could probably go by and drop it off for him in person. So either that or bring it to his building and leave it at his building down with the concierge. So there will be some choices here for that. Yeah, A&W and Harvey's is the go-to burger for you, Kaloy. Yeah, those are good. A&W, of course, I've already put on blast as being a good Canadian fast food restaurant also. So it's just we want to delineate which is actually still Canadian, which isn't. And Harvey's is still a Canadian product. So I'll put them on blast today. So Harvey's is my choice today. All right, let's go do the Instagram stories real quick. First of all, we got Jonathan Mobo putting on blast Jameson Battle for his career highs in points and three-pointers. 25 points, seven threes for Jameson yesterday. Man, I wish you'd just hit a couple more. Also, career high double doubles for Scotty Barnes this season. He got 26 double doubles this season out of the 65 games he played. So that's a third of his games were double doubles. That's pretty dang good. That's Jonathan celebrating his best friend Scott. I love that. And also, he's got the thank you fans post up. Yeah, the really classy stuff from the Raptors official and the players, a lot of them posting thank you to the fans for the end of the season. The connection between the Raptors team and the fans is very strong right now. In some ways, some of these guys who play for the Raptors, they don't totally buy into that connection. But these guys right now, I can tell it's authentically real. They really do love us, and they're all about us. Let's see. Chris Boucher has got his child on his Instagram this morning, guys. And that's what all that matters to him, man. It's not about 50 games in the season and not playing for the last 30. It's not about not playing on the court yesterday because he was ill and in street clothes and not getting to play in the last game of the season for the Raptors against the Spurs. It's about his daughter. It's about his child. And it's about holding her and hanging out with her and smiles and family. That's what it matters right now. I wish the best things for Chris. I hope that we can get an extension with him. I hope that we can maybe figure something out. I don't know. Whatever happens with Chris doesn't change that we love him. He's going to be a Raptor alumni legend forever. That will not change. Just as long as Chris don't do something crazy. I don't think he will, though. I don't think he will. I think he's smart enough to understand this, that his legacy will be intact no matter what the front office decisions and his decisions are for this summer. But yeah, in some ways, it's nice to see Chris with his child with a big smile on his face. The offseason is here. Yeah. As he's got Lil Wayne on here also saying, just use your card. We're going to cash app you. And the look on his face is hilarious. AJ Lawson putting the fans on blast. Thank you, fans, with that post right there. Norman Powell, the grind never stops. The Clippers have clinched the playoffs by winning their game yesterday against the Warriors. And Norman was a big part of it. He had a big shot at halftime at the buzzer. Wow, what a big, huge three. Like it was almost half court, too. It was like a Freddie three right there. It was like almost on the logo. Seriously, Norman, you're a badass. I'm so happy the Clippers got the playoff spot. And well, Warriors, you got some work to do. You're gonna have to play some play in before you get the playoffs. That's right. So yeah, good job by Howell and Leonard. Leonard also played in that game and played very well to help that out. Let's see. We got Jamal Shed with some friends of his dogs, his doggies. He's wearing the Texas jersey yesterday, coming in the game. Yeah, he's hanging out with his friends. More of his friends, putting him on blast. There he is doing old TikTok, put it on his Instagram. He's like, we used to do TikToks, the Houston guys, his teammates from Houston, doing little dances and stuff. Let's see. There's also, he's saying, my little brother forever, man. Love you forever, Moski. Happy birthday, my dog. And that's Ramon Walker Jr. from Houston that he's saying happy birthday to. He's set the thank you to the fans up also. And there he is being put on blast by a young lady who loves him, saying, my doggy. Yeah, blessings after blessing. Proud of you, man, for Jamal Shed. I like that. The Raptor is putting on blast the fans. Thank you, fans. From 95, the Raptor. Grady Dick putting on blast. Thank you, fans. He's feeling it. Eric Smith has got a Joe Budden, Vince Carter Nike ad is up as classic. And also he's got the thank you, fans, from him and Jonesy and Sportsnet Fan 590 for the last 27 years of tuning in and listening to him on the radio. Thank you, Eric Smith, for the job you've done for the Raptors for so long. I appreciate you, and I appreciate the interaction also on Instagram. Matt Devlin's got the Fisherman's Friends out. He needed it for game 82 to make it to the end, always by his side. Matt Devlin putting that Fisherman Friends on there because he's got that bag. That's right. There's game 82 with the announced crew of Jack and Kayla and Matt. So happy, so debonair. And there's the thank you fans from Matt Devlin. Jacoby Walter putting a Jamison Battle on blast for his 25 points and 7 3-pointer game. Very, very cool. Jack Armstrong putting the broadcast crew on blast. And also he was with a Spurs fan, getting to hang out with him. And then he's also got Jamison Battle went off from 3 in the first quarter, 6 for 7 in the first quarter for Jamison. That was fantastic, man. Too bad he could not sustain it the entire game. Too bad. They had a cool starting lineup announcement. They made them on basketball cards. Look really cool, actually, with their names and their pictures. Very, very cool. Graphics by Raptors Admin announcing the starters. And yeah, there's more of the stuff for the highlights. Let's see. That's pretty much it. Yeah, Instagram stories are getting really kind of like shallow and not very deep. Then that is a segment that's going to go away. It's not going to be happening anymore soon. So there's your Instagram stories for now. The end of the month, no more Instagram stories, unfortunately. If there's stuff on Instagram that's that interesting, y'all are going to have to tell me about it because I'm not going to be on Instagram anymore. I won't be seeing it. That's right. Let's see. Harvey's or Arby's? No, Harvey's. That's right. Harvey's. Kaloy, all right, let's see. Stargate saying Arby's and Hardee's are American. Yeah, Hardee's cannot be called Hardee's in Canada because of Harvey's. So it's called Hardee's. Hardee's is called Carl's Jr. in Canada. They call it Carl's Jr. up here because of that. So that is what's up. Let's see. Wayne's here. Morning, Raptor Freaks. Repping the Clippers. What are the odds that they meet at another level? Repping the Clippers. The odds that they meet at another level. I don't know what you mean here. Repping the Raptors and the Clippers. What are the odds that they meet at another level? Raptors and Clippers? Is that what you meant? I don't know. I'm not totally sure what you're saying, Wayne. So good to hang out with you and see you and hear your voice on the Discord yesterday. It was awesome, man. Awesome to meet you on there. Jill saying a daughter. What do you mean a daughter? Yeah, I think that's what Chris's child is, a daughter. I think there's a girl. I didn't know the sex of his child. I don't know the sex of Scotty's child either. In some ways, this is good. People don't need to know the private business of these players and their kids. And well, it looks like Chris has a daughter, is what I see in the picture there. Yeah, Smooth saying can't root for the Clippers, man. Can't do it. He just can't do it. I would sooner root for the Lakers before I root for them. Well, I'll root for Norman and Kawhi because they're Raptors champions. And in some ways, that's the only reason why I'll root for them. It's not because of Steve Ballmer. It's not because in some ways I do root for the Clippers over the Lakers because I want them to be better than the Lakers. But yeah, it's tough. Jill's saying Norman the Jamaican man. Yeah. Why are you leaving Instagram? I'm boycotting Meta. I'm boycotting Zuckerberg. I've already talked about this with you, Jill. I'm leaving Facebook and Meta. It's the same company. And Instagram is part of that company too. Anyway, I don't want to talk about it too much. Let's not get political, Jill. Let's stay on task. All right, so next we got on my tabs. Let's see what's going on Blue Skies. Let's see if there's anything interesting as far as things. Okay, here we've got end of season injury updates for the Raptors from Michael Grange and Lewenberg. They just came out. Michael Grange is saying the only significant note is that Brandon Ingram, who had a PRP injection last week, 3 months after his original ankle injury, will be reassessed in May. Ingram was supposed to start encore week with contact last week. I'm sure it will all be fine. And Lewenberg saying this, Raptors end of season injury updates. Barnes' hand should heal with time, expected ready for the summer. Ingram reacted well at the PRP injection, ankle to be reevaluated in May. Temple got an MCL sprain yesterday. He sees an MCL sprain. Sprain's better than a tear or a pull or anything like that. Grady Dick is on track for on-court work in May, and Shamshay should be ready for summer league. So that's the stuff that's coming out right now from the media scrum from our guys right now. Yeah, let's see. Is there anything else in here that's kind of interesting? Not really. Michael Grange wants to talk about the Masters, apparently. And Blake Murphy's talking about Black Mirror. Let's see. On Raptors Reddit, we got Canada Groose is saying, you just survived the 2024-2025 Toronto Raptors season. See y'all in May for the draft lottery. There you go. Okay. Here's a tweet that somebody says sums up the way I feel after watching the Raptors last couple of seasons. So this person wrote, In 2014, the start of We the North, all the talk was about how passionate Raptors fans are. The building was so loud you couldn't hear referees whistle. Organically, fans who couldn't get in the building stood outside despite the fact that it's freezing rain. Online, if you said something bad about the team, you'd have a million angry Raptors fans quick to correct you. A passionate bunch who just saw a miraculous turnaround post Rudy Gay trade that no one saw coming, not even the front office. We the North perfectly encapsulated that sentiment. Okay. If the NBA is a novel, this is a coming of age tale. Young, forgotten, oft overlooked team ready to tear it all down for the billionth time. Trades former first overall pick, trades overpaid offensive guards, star, tries to trade malcontent point guard who doesn't want to be there. They have no real way of improving besides tear down and bottoming out for top picks like the Atlantic Division members have begun doing. Maybe build around their 24-year-old shooting guard, but there's a lot of questions on if he's good enough to be that guy. Are they talking about DeMar? Let's see. Mind you, the Raptors just went through this with Bosch. They had no choice but to tear it down, and they tried to build up after him and Vince. So I don't even know where this person's going. They're all over the place. Bosch was never good enough to be that guy, and he left the Raptors in a worse spot. At least Vince was under contract. The team could have got more. Yeah, why were you even bringing this up? And then the team, then they beat Dallas in overtime, coincidentally, against Vince Carter in Chris Bosh's hometown. I just realized this, kind of poetic, I can't lie. Then they followed that win by beating the Thunder in OKC. And just like that, the Raptors Cinderella season begins. Okay, what is going on here? We the North tapped in the angsty way many of the fans felt. Toronto's third largest city in the NBA, but it gets treated like a small market. Fans felt refs hated them. Stern hated them. ESPN ignored them. Canadian TV media rarely talked about them. They just, geez, this is so long-winded and stupid. I should have realized this wasn't so long before I started reading it. Iman Amnan, just write a little shorter. Seriously here. Like, I don't get your point here. You're going way too long on this. Okay, I'm just going to kind of read it fast and see if it's actually even worth reading over because there's like 3 more pages of this shit. Oh my gosh. Okay, that I get what you're saying there. Okay, I don't even know what the whole point of saying this is. Like, I'm not even gonna read the rest of this. It's stupid. It's stupid, man. All right, let's see. This is something that somebody's reposted a Slim Duck tweet from way back. Chris Boucher saying, "Be careful who you shit on. Some of us know what to do with a fertilizer." That was from 50 weeks ago. When is that? That's like over a year ago, right? Was this around this time last year? And this guy's warning us. Toronto will regret their late season disrespect of Chris Boucher. How do you even know they were disrespecting him, bro? That's what I would say to you, bro. Wait, maybe he knew exactly what was going on and he wasn't feeling disrespected. You're feeling disrespected and projecting it on him. That's what I would say right there. Now, if Chris comes around later and goes to another team and he's a Raptor killer after this, okay, we'll say this. But right now, you are supposing too much, Mr. Kaz on Reddit. You're supposing too much that you think that Chris has been disrespected at the end of the year. He may have been just doing what they told him they were going to do. And he is fine with it. And you guys don't even realize it. Yeah. All right, let me see. I'm going to go past all the rest of this here. Let's see. Trevor is posting on the Discord while we're doing this, and it's making noises. That's funny. Let's see. Is there any more tabs? All right, let me see what else you guys were saying right here. Most saying congratulations, Leo and Jonesy, on finishing 30th season. Yeah, they got honored. Wayne saying, sorry, left the other team, Lakers, Clippers versus Lakers, just for Norman, hate Harden and Kawhi is unspeakable. Sorry, left off the other team, Lakers, Clippers versus Lakers, just for Norman, hate Harden and Kawhi is unspeakable. Yeah, I can't hate Kawhi. Kawhi is a huge reason why we got a championship. Even though he left and he made a stupid move, that's his own damn fault. In some ways, we paid for it too, but he paid for it more. In some ways, he paid for it more. He could have had way more individual accolades and be viewed as somebody more on the level with LeBron if Kawhi Leonard had stayed in Toronto and won another championship with us. Yeah, in some ways, I don't get mad at him for that. He had poor people, poor judgment, from poor advice from people around him that made him go to Steve Ballmer and the Clippers. Some of it may have been the NBA forcing him. Some of it may have been Uncle Dennis. Some of it may have been bullshit that people were telling him about not being able to do stuff in Canada. But I'm positive at this point that Kawhi Leonard understands he was wrong. And that if he had stayed with the Raptors a second season, they could have repeated in the bubble. So I can't get mad at Kawhi because he was an idiot and did that. In some ways, he hasn't been malicious towards us. And he singularly, as one person, is probably the most important person that got our championship. So that's the way I feel about it. I'm not even mad at James Harden either anymore. James Harden's just an entity that causes problems in the league. And I like how he caused problems for the Sixers. So he became my friend by the end of things in some ways. So I am a big fan of his right there. Yeah. Let's see. Most saying the exit interviews are out now. Okay, that's interesting because you know what that means? You know what? Maybe I'll do Discord reviews of them live on Discord and people will want to come in and see them. They're on live right now. Okay, so they're doing the exit interviews as we speak on YouTube right now. Fiercely saying, thanks, Raptor Freaks. Mo, I will go watch the exit interviews. Yeah, I'll wrap up, y'all. On that note, we're almost at an hour and a half. Reggie saying, Leonard is happy in LA. He doesn't regret his move. His eyes tell the story. I respect his 1 year in Toronto, but I'm not rooting for the Clippers, man. Well, I'll root for them over the Lakers. If they're going to play the Lakers in a series, I'm going to be rooting for them. I mean, it depends on who they're playing against. If the Clippers were playing the Rockets, I'd root for Fred and the Rockets. If the Clippers are playing the Thunder and SGA, I'll root for the Thunder. But in the hierarchy of things, the Clippers are a team I will root for over a lot of other teams that I don't have any feelings for. But teams that I have players on that I like, I won't root for them over. That's true. That's true. You don't think he regrets it? He does. He does. You can't read anything by Kawhi's eyes, man. You can't. I would say this. 2 reasons why I can tell you he regrets it. First of all, you can see him sitting on the bench when he was hurt all these years with the Clippers, just how kind of down he was. He didn't look like he was happy. And in some ways, he may have been second guess in his life. Seriously. And then the second thing is, I will say, is that he recently participated in the Raptors Delight series. You know, if he didn't have fond memories of winning the championship with the Raptors and talking about this year, why did he come on Sportsnet and talk to us about it? You know, other players from our history, like Chris Bosh, gave us the cold shoulder. But Kawhi participated in the storytelling of the Raptors Delight series and actually came out and talked about how he felt about the championship. That impressed me in the last episode of Raptors Delight, that Kawhi participated and he actually wanted to be involved. You know, I bet you'd be shocked about what he would say about the whole thing now. He probably would say he regrets it. I'm telling you right now, I can feel his energy. And that's how I can feel his energy just looking at him and some of the stuff when he's in street clothes sitting on the bench. He's probably like thinking, man, if I just stayed in Toronto, I could have gotten another chip. I'm pretty sure he would say that. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Stargate saying Brandon's speaking now. All right. I'm going to watch all this afterwards. I'm out, guys. End of season. Blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks, most informative gang. Find and fulfill your purpose for each day. Love. There you go, Randolph. Thank you for the blessings and blessings to Phillips family and all the Raptor Freak families. All right. And she wants me to take a 10:30 drink water. Oh, I got to do the classic card. All right, I got 3 minutes before this is over. And, well, hopefully some of y'all are still here and not run off on me because of the thing that's going on. All right, here we go. Here's the classic card, guys. Full name answer. Oh, wow, it's really reflective. I got to make sure y'all can see it. How can I get it on there without – this is impossible. The bright light is so good. Okay, this guy's on the Spurs. And I'm going to say that this guy played high school basketball with Muggsy Bogues at Dunbar High School, with Reggie Williams too. There you go. Smooth's got it. It's David Wingate. Was that clue the one that gave it to you? It's so bright. I'm gonna have to figure that out with this. Like, what if I turn it down? Is that a little bit better? I'm gonna have to figure this out. The light is not gonna be good for the classic card, but it is David Wingate. Smooth got it, and I'm gonna go ahead and give him 200 for it because that's a hard one. So David Wingate and Smooth got it today. Yeah, good job. Was it the Dunbar High School clue? That is good, man. 200 for that one. That's a hard card. Yeah, good job. David Wingate is right. All right, let's wrap it up and get out of here. I got less than a minute. The Raptors lost their season ending game against the Spurs by 7. Scotty Barnes had 35 points, and he was the star of the game. Chris Paul, really good on the other side. Callum Castleton's my second star. Jamison Battle's my third star. Just too little of roster health. 5 players available to finish the game because people fouled out and got hurt, and nobody else was available. And it is what it is. The Spurs had 10 guys play, and that's just what goes, man. Y'all eat at Harvey's. It's still Canadian, so check it out and eat at Harvey's. There's an ESPN article about the off season, and it has a Raptors thing on it. You guys might want to read that. I did kind of read it earlier, so maybe there's something in that. Yeah, they're doing all the quotes from the end of season exit interviews right now. So I'm gonna get out of here right now, guys. Appreciate everybody watching, and I'll do live reactions to the interviews in a little while this afternoon, where I'll actually watch them again, and you guys can watch them with me if you want to see them with me and see my live reactions. It'll be on whatchamacallit. It'll be on Discord. That's where I'll be doing that. Yeah, Georgetown. He played for Georgetown with Johns Thompson, but he was at Dunbar High School in Baltimore, Maryland with Muggsy Bogues and Reggie Williams. And I think Reggie Lewis was there too, right? Wasn't it? Yeah. You like my wall. Okay. Stargate saying it's the uniforms that throw me off sometimes, these classic cards. Yeah, Wingate wasn't really known for being a Spur. He was known for like Charlotte and also for Philadelphia, I think, more than being a Spur. Yeah. Yeah, you remember Wingate with the Sonics. Yeah, I do remember him with the Sonics too. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and join. If you join the channel, you get access to our Discord server where a lot more extracurricular fun is going to happen. We're going to have Raptor Freak Tuesday trivia tomorrow. So come back tomorrow. I'll have the questions and we'll have a trivia game tomorrow. Let's go, Raptors. Let's go off season. Future's so bright. We all got to wear shades. Raptors going to be good. Fiercely Saucera Jr. is going to be good. Let's go, Raptors. Let's go, Tempo. Let's go. Raptors.